and welcome back to the stream. Welcome to Flight Pass. This is a second part of the chat on Utah Beach. Let me just update some of these locations for you. So we are going to head now to Cotentin Peninsula, and the date is going to be the 6th of June. And let's change the scroll for you. Okay, so let's head to around about, yeah, we could just fly straight away. So we know that the D-Day was delayed, and just before we start, I just wanted to show you these documents here. This here is the route that the fleet's the task force took. You can see that if you look at the smaller circle rather than the bigger circle just to the southeast of the Isle of Wight, this is was an area that was known as Piccadilly Circus. So the fleets would come in and merge in this area, organise themselves. They'll come in from Portsmouth, Southampton, around the Solent. They're coming along the coast from Dover, and they're also coming from Weymouth and Plymouth, and they're targeting this area. And from that area south, as you can see in these lines, is where they mineswept the channel, and then these task force would go to their areas. So this is so where we are now. We just make sure we're not crashing. We're out now in the area, probably about 11 miles off the coast of the Cotentin Peninsula, on the western side of the invasion beaches. And these little islands we see up here are the Marcouf Island, Saint-Marcouf, and these were important little islands. They used these to mark the beginning of the run into the beaches. So the Fleet Task Force O would be out here. They would do their embarkation probably around about 11 miles offshore to be out of range of the German artillery. And we saw, if anyone wants to go back, you can look at the some of the airborne landing videos. We discussed the Crisbeck battery, and that was one of the ones that could fire. They had the 210mm naval guns, so they could fire. Their range was almost like 17 miles. So they wanted to be sort of quite a long distance away from them. And then when this is where the landing craft would get themselves organized, and then the run-in to the beaches would be from these islands that we see here, and to the south of it. So the initial the beaches themselves were subjected to aerial and naval bombardment, and of all the beaches, actually the bombing of Utah Beach was one of the most successful in terms of at least shaking up the German soldiers so that they, as soon as they could, either surrender or leave, they would. Like we said in the task, in the exercise Tiger, the naval bombardment began at 5:50 in the morning, and then there was. So this is when these guys are starting to come in. 6:30 was the H hour, so it was 40 odd minutes before these guys arrived. So they will be coming in from this sort of area here, heading into the beach. They'd have naval gunfire coming across now at the intended targets, and then they had an aerial bombardment as well, which was scheduled to bomb along the beach from around about 9 minutes past 6 in the morning to 27 minutes past 6. This is the plan. The amphibious landing was going to be done in 4 waves. The first wave was 20 landing craft, vehicle personnel. They would be carrying 4 companies from the 8th Infantry Regiment of the 4th Infantry Division. And of these 20 landing craft, 10 would land on what was known as Terre Green, which was the most northern sector, and the other sector was called Uncle Red, and that was to the south. The first sector was Terre Green, was coming in, or planned to come in, at a place called Les Dunes du Varaville. So we're heading in now to this into the beach. What I would do actually here is let's just jump out here, and we can then just see what they would have seen. So this is the view that you get from the water as you're coming in. As you can see, there is no real distinct feature, and you've also got to realize it's very early in the morning. It's also cloud cover. We know that it was cloud cover was to about 2,000 feet. It's around about a force 4, I believe, force 4 gusting 5. Waves were moderate, though the Cotentin Peninsula gave protection as you got nearer, so the waves decreased as we got nearer. But further out to sea, you got a moderate sort of 1 meter swell, so it's not comfortable, and gusting 4 to 5. But with the naval bombardment that's happened as well, and the aerial bombardment, there was a smoke covering this shore. So these guys can't see anything. They're literally coming in probably blind, not knowing at all where they are. And combining on that, there was a a current, and the current comes around the Cotentin Peninsula. Is the tide comes in, it sweeps around the bay and drives them, and without them knowing, without any features, they couldn't know that they were actually drifting south from their intended target. So, of these 20 landing vehicles, 10 each on each sector, there was also 8 LCDs, landing craft tanks, that were carrying these DD tanks, amphibious tanks from the 7th Tank Battalion. And they were scheduled to arrive minutes just before the infantry. And then the second wave would come in. So the first wave was at 6:30, and the second wave was designed to come in about 5 minutes later at 6:35, and that would be 32 LCVPs carrying 4 more companies. So we're talking now 8 in total, companies of the 8th Infantry. And this would also carry in combat engineers and demolition teams that would begin to clear the beaches. And the third wave then was scheduled to come in 10 minutes later at 6:45, and that would consist of 8 more LCT tanks, but this carrying tanks, but also carrying armored bulldozers. They would actually land on the beach and push off our beach, clearing the any obstacles. And then the fourth wave would be pretty close to that, around about 6:47, and these would be more mechanized detachments from the combat engineer battalions. Let's get on. So what actually happens? So the naval bombardment begins. What happens is that the first troops to reach the shore are 4 companies from the 2nd Battalion of the 8th Infantry, and they arrive at 6:30. They arrive. Companies B and C arrive at the beach that is codenamed Terre Green. But what they don't realise is they're not actually on Terre Green. And let's just get to the shore, and we'll see where we come out and see if it compares with what happened to them. So we're approaching the beach now. And there we go. This is it. We're ashore. We've arrived. Okay. So let's just get orientated. Okay, so we've actually have arrived, I think, at what was the actual planned Terre Green. And this is this section here. I think this is the Dune de Varville. Yeah, I believe so. You can sort of tell as well by the damage. You can see the some cratering going on. So this was this is evidence that it was targeted during that time. This road causeway that comes out here signified the dividing line between one of the beach's sectors and the other. So this was Tear Green, and then we had Uncle Red next to it. But what actually happens is that these guys are pushed further south, and they actually land here. And this is this sector here. It becomes Tear Green, and this sector here is now Uncle Red. So they've basically been pushed something in the region of a kilometre or so, a kilometre and a half from where they were designated to land. And they could recognise this because there was a house that had a red roof on it, called Red Roof House, and they could see that that was something that should have been on their left, was now on their right. And I believe that it is this house here. The Microsoft Flight Simulator just puts a generic house on it, but I believe it's one of these houses here. It could be this one here. It's probably the more likely. So they knew then that they were in the wrong area. Let's talk about. Let's have a little talk about get a bit more about the actual people. This is the emblem for the 4th Battalion. And this guy here, let's talk about this guy here. This is, on the day, it's Captain Leonard Schroeder Jr. He was 25 years old on the on D-Day, and he was the captain in charge of the 219 men of Company F of the 2nd Battalion, the 8th Infantry Regiment of the 4th Infantry Division. And he was basically the senior guy in charge, the first basically guy off the landing craft. He is a friend of Brigadier General Theodore Roosevelt, to the point where Roosevelt, I think he had been injured or something prior to D-Day, and Roosevelt wanted to wish him well and wanted to get him back fit again because he wanted to ride with him to go ashore. So this guy is basically one of the first people to land on D-Day from the sea. He had 32 men in his boat, including Brigadier General Roosevelt. And they come ashore here. So he describes that he comes in, they drop the ramp. He has to jump into the water. He's carrying his carbine rifle above his head. and he has to wade approximately 100 meters in through the water to climb out. And then he runs across the beach. He's getting enemy fire from the pillboxes and some artillery shelling. Half of the men of his boat are injured, can become casualties. He himself is also shot twice in the arm. So Roosevelt's with this guy. They come out and they realize that they're in the wrong place. But he standing on the dunes here, they quickly sort of quell any resistance at this point. And Roosevelt decides that this is as good as it's going to get. He determines that there's two strong points in the vicinity, but they've been severely damaged by shelling. And if we can see any evidence of the shelling. Get some hole marks here. Look, there's a few round craters in this area here. He just determines that that this is as good a point as any, and so he has this famous line that let's start the war from right here. And he then sends a message back to the fleet to order all the further landings to come in at this point. And this is causeway, and I can't remember which exit it is, but this is one of the exits that comes off the beaches. I think it might be exit 4. Anyway, this comes off the beach, and as you remember from our previous discussion, this is where we know at this time the 101st Airborne are here. Major Horton and the 506th Regiment is in this village, Le Grand Chemin here. So they effectively have captured one end of this causeway already. Or will do sooner or later. And as you can remember from previous episodes, this farm here is Breacourt Manor, and this is where the artillery pieces are that Dick Winters assaulted. So second wave, these boats are now just all following each other in. Let's fly this back. Let's get back in the aircraft. Second wave comes in, then they're following the first wave. 32 LC VPs carrying Company A and D of the 1st Battalion, 8th Infantry. And they come in and land on Tear Green, and Company G and H land on Uncle Red. And these are the ones from the plan you remember are the ones carrying the first engineers and demolition teams, and say that they will begin to clear the mines and obstacles around that exit. The DD tanks that were supposed to arrive 10 minutes before the infantry had faced crosswinds and a headwind. They were, because of the nature of the sea at the time, they were brought closer into shore, so they actually launched from 1,500 yards rather than the planned 5,000 yards. But because of these headwinds, they actually arrived 20 minutes late. So our friend Schroeder didn't have tank support that he was expecting at the time. One of the LCTs of those tanks were hit a mine, so the 4 tanks of Company A of the 70th Tank Battalion were lost. And if we just pause here, they say that those tanks were lost three miles south of the of Saint-Marcouf. So we're probably talking that these are the Marcouf Islands here. So somewhere in this area here was where the that LCT went down. Let's oh, by the way, this is Teddy Roosevelt Jr. Quick side note, this is the guy, he wins the Medal of Honor. He actually dies, I think it's about 2 or 3 weeks into the Normandy campaign. He dies of a heart attack. He knew he also had, at the time, that he had heart trouble, so yeah. Documents wise, let's this is, whoa, but no one told me I was flying into the into the ground. Let's change this scroll. I should keep up with all this sort of stuff. You guys have probably read all this. I've got this scroll going on the bottom just so that if I forget anything, I've got it. You guys can remind me. This area down here, by the way, was actually designated as Victor sector. I can't remember why and who was supposed to be landing there. This is the plan, or the map of what happened afterwards. And it shows the main egress onto the shore is from the south along that the new landing area, and they then you can see that they would push in and move along the beach from that the first point. So some would move across the causeway and then move to the north, and others would move up the line of the shore, taking out the other positions. But as we've seen from when we were talking about the 82nd and 101st, a lot of these troops pulled back towards Cherbourg, the Germans, and they like 200 or so ended up at the Azoville battery. And you can see the importance then, you can see how this whole area here now in front of us where the stream's going across was flooded. There's a lock down the end that which they allowed the sea to come into and flood this land. So if they didn't control this high ground, you can see the steeple there at Saint-Marcouf on the horizon. If they didn't control this area here, then the Germans can use this high ground or the steeple at Saint-Marcouf to put artillery observation onto the beach. And this is what happens a lot of the time from the Crispec battery and the Azoville battery. They can still fire on the beach and harass the offloading of the troops. So the 4th Division had to get their stuff, or not only hit the beach, but get off the beach, because it would be not only targeted and observed from places like up here, but also they would have already been zeroed in. So you can see from when flying low how important just this sort of slight ridge is here, and why the 101st needed to control basically this road that comes a lot parallel. This is Le Grand Chemin, and this is the road that Dick Winters came down from his landing site. So this whole road follows north. Here we are. No need to panic. So yes, let's talk then third wave. Some conventional tanks arrive at 6:45. They're the M4 Shermans, and the dozer tanks arrive as well. And then 6:47, a fourth wave arrives, and these bring the combat engineers, and they begin to clear the beach between the high water and the low water marks. Let's get back to the beach, and we can talk about Company B. They of the 2nd Battalion, 8th Infantry Regiment. They were receiving small arms fire and stuff from some of the houses on the beach, and they headed to WN7. I don't know if you can see that on that. They didn't get much resistance from WN7, and then they headed north west from there. Company C disabled WN6, I believe, or 5, sorry, at a place which is called La Grande Dune. But these things have been heavily damaged during the bombardment. This is, I think, Causeway 1 is what it was called, where they arrived, and they met pockets of resistance, but they quickly overcame it, and by 8:30 the the area around the landing point had become secured. And then the combat teams began to prepare to cross the causeway to try to link up with the 101st. There's they moved along the beach and took out these things. So there's 3 causeways. Let's see if we can. Let's just pause here and we'll jump out quickly. So this one is one of the causeways. I can't remember which one it is. One. There is another one probably here. 2. And likely to be around here. This was the initial landing area that we were talking about on this side. And so these 3, at least 3 causeways, they started pushing along them and linking up with the 101st Airborne. And these causeways start to get congested because the waves of reinforcements are coming in, and it's important to get these guys off the beaches. And it turns out that pockets of Germans are trapped between the invasion and the 101st. And then a lot of these little pockets just surrender. The troops, we discussed this before, they're quite poor quality. Ost Battalion generally tend to be manned by Polish, Russians, but with German NCOs and officers. But the reinforcements that are coming in are better quality. So back at Saint-Marie de Mont, the German Fallschirmjäger, I think is sorry about my German, but it's the 6th Parachute Regiment, basically, of the German 91st Infantry Division. They're based, or had moved up into the Cotentin region, and they were one of the reasons why one of the drop zones was abandoned, because they had knowledge of their presence. And they were coming up to Saint-Marie de Mont. So they needed to get off the beaches, off the causeways, before these better quality troops arrived. And so by the end of the day, they've captured a number of they got all the way to Saint-Marie de Mont. The Fourth Infantry Division meets all of their Well, they didn't meet all of their objectives on D-Day because they had landed too far to the south. But they basically managed to achieve a secured beachhead. They suffered 197 casualties. So of all the beaches, this was by far the least number of casualties. And you could argue that the Slapton Sands casualties helped to reduce the casualties at this point. So on this side, then, just I might come back and do some individual stories involving this area. But just to wrap up this sort of Utah and the Airborne section, the forces landing on Utah had basically secured the immediate area within an hour. By the close of D-Day, they penetrated basically 4 miles inland. So let's just recap here. So they arrive in this area here. They penetrate inland 4 miles. They've start sweeping up the beaches. They've captured all the sort of exits to the from the causeways. This dark green patch we see here, which was flooded. The 82nd Airborne have captured Saint-Marcouf, which is this village here. So this is Saint-Marcouf. The 82nd has captured that. The bridge at Lafayette is captured, which is this one. Wait. It's this one. Where are we looking at? This is here we are. Here. This is the bridge at Lafayette. This is captured, so it's protecting the western flank. The village to the north of Saint-Marcouf there's a platoon of troops that are denying 2 companies reinforcements from here. You've got the main villages along this road coming down this way has been secured by the 101st Airborne, and they've reached Saint-Marie-de-Mont, which is here, and they've managed or have begun to harass and try to secure the batteries at Azeville and Crisbec. This is Crisbec here. This does take about 4 days to fall, and this is where all the Germans are coming back to. And then there's another battery here at Azeville, which you can see here. So in a certain sense, yes, the Germans have managed to, or can still harass the beaches, but they're now doing it from a very big distance. The fleet out there are basically continuing harassing those batteries, and now the nature of the battle is to cross the Cotentin Peninsula, so they will change these defensive positions along the Murderer to a more aggressive offensive position and push across to the coast on the other side, cut off Cherbourg. And they will also push south, take Cotentin, and then that would allow them to control the southern part of the Cotentin Peninsula, enables them to then link up with Omaha, and once Cherbourg is captured, they can then, using the British at Caen as the hinge for the door, eventually fight their way through this bocage and out onto more open ground, sweeping around to the south and trying to encircle the Germans at the Falaise with Patton sweeping around, taking the Brittany section. But that is for the future, but that gives us a whole sort of overview of what's happened. So that's I hope that you guys have enjoyed that, and if you did, then please pop a like for an old chap, and give us a subscribe. I just, we appreciate it if anyone was listening, really. This completes this section of D-Day, and so next week we will start to look at Omaha, and we will see a much we'll have a look at the terrain of Omaha. We'll be able to recognize some of the difficulties that the terrain gave to the attacking forces. You can just really see straight away that the land gives the defenders an advantage along this piece of coastline. And so we will look at how this part of D-Day fares, and we can look at I haven't decided how I'm going to discuss this. I might just try and follow one unit, but if anyone's got any ideas how this story is best told on Omaha, then let me know in the comments below, or you can go to the Discord link which is in the chat and add any information you want. But that is in the future, and we will do that next week. So yes, hopefully I will see you all again soon. Goodbye.